What's up, guys? So something caught my attention lately. It was a Nintendo Switch running an SNES emulator, and I don't know why it intrigued me because the Switch wouldn't be the first handheld console that can run an emulator. But I guess it sparked an interest with me because I thought to myself, hey, I can totally do that. But let's take it a step further and build a portable PSX console, and let's do it for $100. Better than that disappointing PlayStation Classic console. Stay tuned. Z here with Monster Review. So if you see my video or other tech blogger videos on the PlayStation Classic, you know that we all recommend skipping it. It offers nothing that a Raspberry Pi PSX hacks can't. If anything, the Raspberry Pi build has way more to offer than the PlayStation Classic. We're not going to be building a Raspberry Pi PSX, so don't worry, our build is way more easier, and it's meant to be a portable handheld device, rather than a device that plugs into your TV. There might be ways you can get it to display on your TV if you really want to, but my goal was to make this PSX portable. So what do you need? Well, the most important item, which is the heart and brain of this build, would be a Firetablet 8. You don't need anything special. The base model 16GB will do just fine, and you can get it on Amazon for $50. If you wait a little bit, you might be able to score it cheaper. The second most important item is optional. It's a Bluetooth gamepad that's compatible with an Android tablet. Most gamepads are, but if you want to avoid trouble, get one that plays nicely with Android. You can very much play your PSX games without it, but I wouldn't recommend it. I'm going to use a PS4 gamepad because I already had one lying around, and I've already verified that it worked with my Firetablet. You can try an Xbox One gamepad also, which may work. I don't have one to test it with, but I have tested it with a Wii controller with no luck. The third item may or may not be important to you depending on how comfortable you want to be, but for me it's a must. And that's just a cheap Firetablet case with a kickstand. Nothing fancy. The one I have is on Amazon for $17 and it comes in different colors. And the last item is also entirely up to you. It's the memory card. Yes, the Firetablet comes with 16GB of memory, but after the OS takes its share of space, you're left with about 10 gigs. That's still good depending on how many backups you have for your PSX console. You might need a little bit more space. I got a 32GB micro SD card on Amazon for $5.99. Small price to pay for convenience. Yes, it's not much cheaper than the PlayStation Classic, but this build is 100 times better than the Classic in every way. Plus, it's portable like the Nintendo Switch emulator, meaning that you can take this build wherever you go. You can take it to work and you can play a little nostalgia while eating your lunch. So why the Firetablet? Well, that's easy. The Firetablet is the best affordable Android tablet on the market. Make no mistake though, there are some drawbacks. For one, the tablet is slow if you're trying to use it like an ordinary tablet and play games such as Minecraft and Roblox. Even browsing the web is slow most times. But although it's slow for normal operations compared to flagship tablets like the iPad and Galaxy tablet, it still has more than enough power under the hood to run a PSX emulator. The second drawback is having to sideload Android apps that you want to install. Although the tablet runs a variation of Android, Amazon has the OS locked and tailored for them. So instead of the Play Store, you have the dreadful Amazon App Store. So if you want Play Store apps, you need to sideload them. It's not hard at all. It's as easy as downloading an APK from a web browser and installing it onto your Firetablet with unknown sources chat. But enough chatter. Let's get into the build.
Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we are going to enable unknown sources. So just go into settings, go to security and privacy, and apps from unknown sources, make sure it's selected there. Once it's turned on, go to your web browser of choice. Here I'm using Silk browser, and then go to Google and then search multi emulator APK, and then you can see multi PSX emulator for Android. It's from APK Pure. That's what we're looking for. So then hit download APK, and then at the bottom here it's going to say, do you want to download? Hit download, and then it's going to do downloading. And then once it's downloaded, go ahead and open it, press install, and it's going to be installing. So at the top here it says apps installed. So then at the bottom, hit open, and the app will open. Hit OK, and that will be the main page of the PSX emulator. So here's my desktop. I already have my micro SD card opened here under no name. See, it's completely empty. In here, in this folder called new folder, I've organized all my ROMs and the BIOS for the PSX. All these have been downloaded and they're already organized and extracted, so they're good to go. So now in my card, I'm just going to create a new folder and call it PSX ROM. Now, unlike a computer emulator, you don't need to set everything up like in any particular order. You can just dump it all on the root of the SD card, and the emulator app on the Firetablet should be able to search the entire card and grab what it needs or grab what it can recognize. So for the PSX ROM folder that I just created, I am going to go ahead and copy the bin files for the games into the folder. As you can see, roughly 4 games is about 2 gigs. So I mean, although PlayStation was a very long time ago, you also have to remember that the games were fairly large. I would say, you know, in the ballpark between 400 and 600 megabytes, because they all fit. The entire game fit on a 700 megabyte CD. So I got all my games in the PSX ROM folder. So now all I gotta do is I gotta copy the PlayStation BIOS. This is needed in order for the emulator to play your games. And I'm just gonna copy it into the root of the SD card. And then of course I have Mario here, which I will also copy. This is for a different ROM. So I'll create a new folder and call it NES ROM. And I will copy Mario over. And that's it, the SD card is ready to go. So the SD card is prepared. I can go ahead and unplug it from the computer. And we are going to go ahead and put it into the Firetablet. Okay, we can go ahead and turn on the tablet. We're gonna mount the SD card. And there's a reason why I use this emulator. This is the best emulator I've ever used for PlayStation on an Android device. Highly recommended. I would not recommend trying any other emulator. You can if you want to, but this is definitely the best emulator I have found for Android that play PSX games. So we can go ahead and open it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do search games and let it search external storage. And bam, there you go. There are all your games. Crash Bandicoot, Crash Bash, Spider-Man, and Spyro the Dragon. And then I can just show you how to start up the game. You can just hit the game you want, hit new game, and then now it's going to ask you for the BIOS file. So go to File Setting, and go to Auto Search. Again, search external. There we go, and it found the BIOS file. Hit OK. And then click back, and then hit new game again, hit OK, and there you go, the game will start.
A Universal Interactive Studios production.
Well, now how do you pair a Bluetooth controller? Well, that's easy. All you're gonna do is go into Bluetooth, wireless and Bluetooth, Bluetooth, and then pair a Bluetooth device. Now for the PlayStation remote, to put it in pair, all you have to do is press the share and the PlayStation button together, and it will pop up as a wireless controller. Hit pair, and it's connected. But that's not it. Go back into the emulator, go to gamepad setting, and then you're going to click add, and then for the name you can go ahead and call it PS3. Okay, so now for circle, it's going to ask you to push a button on the gamepad to assign it. So for circle on the gamepad, we're gonna hit circle. For cross, we're gonna hit cross. For triangle, we're gonna hit triangle. Go into square, hit square. Go into L1, hit L1. Go into R1, hit R1. Go into L2, hit L2. Go into R2, hit R2. L3, hit L3. R3, hit R3. Select, we're going to use share. For start, we're going to use the touchpad. For up, we're going to use up. For down, we're going to use down. For left, we're going to use left. For right, we're going to use right. Analog joystick left, go ahead and move the left joystick. Analog joystick right, go ahead and move the right joystick. And then that's it. Go ahead and press back. Make sure that it's turned on. And now once you have your gamepad paired with your emulator and the Firetablet, you are all set to put it into the case. If you got a case. If you didn't get a case, you can skip this step. And there you go. You're ready to have some fun.
So as I said before, this build is so much better than a PlayStation Classic. Because it's a tablet, you can take it anywhere you want to play your old PSX games with or without a gamepad. Battery should last you about 2 hours before you need to recharge. Display is awesome for playing PSX games. Because PlayStation 1 was before HD was a thing, all PSX games are non-HD, and it shows when you play them on an HD TV. But for some odd reason, when you run the PSX emulator in full screen, it shows your PSX games pretty damn good. Using the PS4 remote made all my PSX games feel familiar with the identical layout the PlayStation 4 gamepad has to the original PSX gamepad. Your mileage may vary depending on which gamepad you decide to use. The remote is actually very responsive too. There is no lag whatsoever, and gameplay just feels better on this than it does on the PlayStation Classic. And the final selling point is that you can run more than one emulator. I also installed a NES emulator to play those classic Mario games I love so much. If I want to play SNES or Sega games, it's no problem at all. Just download the emulator and I'm ready to go. So my final thought is this. If you were planning on spending $100 on the PlayStation Classic, why not look into building this or the Raspberry Pi PlayStation Classic hack first? You have much more to gain. With both builds, you can run any emulator you want, and if you ever swear off games, well, no problem. Both the Firetablet and Raspberry Pi can be repurposed for any project. The main difference between the two is that the Firetablet is portable and doesn't need to be connected to the TV. And when you're done with your gameplay, well, just close the app and read the news. And that does it for this video on how to build a PSX Portable. Thanks for watching. Hope you found it helpful. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down work also. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.